Welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm so excited to see you here on Sunday. Hopefully you guys are cozy at home because today we're going to talk about how to create a cozy home, actually, and with expert interior design tips. A cozy home isn't just about decor. It's about how a space makes you feel. How do you guys feel when you're at home? From colors to textures to lighting, every detail plays a critical role to transform your home into that beautiful retreat and oasis. Choosing warm and inviting colors is a big part of creating coziness. So if you have a lot of bright colors that are jumping out at you, it's not really going to feel fine. It's not going to feel comfortable. So colors have, of course, a psychological impact on your well-being and how you feel in a space. So warm tones always tend to be a lot more soothing. They provoke a sense of safety, intimacy, relaxation, and cool tones can feel a little bit distant and sterile like a hospital. I would opt for, especially now with the beautiful colors and paint colors and rich fabric colors that I'm seeing out in the marketplace, terracottas, beautiful rich browns, deep greens, ochres, muted mustards, all of these sort of light rust colors. They mimic the natural colors of the leaves. I always tell my clients who are lost as to what colors to choose, I say, look at the leaves on the floors in the fall, or look around you, especially in California. Think of the colors that are in nature and try and mimic those because they're very homogeneous. They work really well together. These beautiful light yellows and browns of fall are really soothing and will make a very big difference in your space. Also layering warm neutrals, even if you prefer sort of a neutral palette, choosing warmer versions, sort of cream instead of whites, etc., is also going to add a lot of depth and dimension into your space. So if you have a lot of white walls and you're thinking that you want to bring in a little bit of warmth, then we've got some solutions for you. Paint your walls. Use a beautiful cream. Now, don't do the old school, 90s, or I should say late 80s cream that looks dated, but do a fresh vanilla cream, something that brings that chaleureux, that warm feel into your space. Now, what I would avoid in order to create this warm, neutral gathering is avoid contrast colors. High contrast color schemes are really on the way out because they have a bit of a shock to them. And really, when I talk about interior design on this channel, it's not about what's in and what's out. It's about what resonates, what you feel comfortable in, how you want to live. And if you want to live this cozy life, then my recommendation would be not to have bright contrasting colors. And I would always avoid cool tones. Grays can be very depressing. So if you find that sometimes you're just sad or in a sad mood, well, maybe it's the color of your walls. It has come to my attention that 65% of you who watch this channel regularly are not subscribed. We've got to get that number down, guys. So if you're enjoying the content that I'm sharing, and if there's anything you can do to help me and help this channel and help all the people that work behind the scenes, then it would be free and easy to just subscribe. So thank you, and we appreciate it. On top of it, we will make the pledge to give you better and better content each and every week. Another important aspect of bringing coziness into the home, which also happens to be very high-end, so there is a coincidence here. We're talking about elevating your design, but also bringing out coziness. So coziness and elevation actually go hand in hand, much to most people's thought process. So if you are perhaps using natural sort of biophilia and natural materials, you will find yourself to feel a lot more grounded at home. When you have materials that are mimicked in nature, like wood, beautiful stones, clays, terracottas, things that are, for example, wool and jute and linen and sisal and seagrass, and I could go on and on. Those materials are so inherently in our DNA. Remember, we are by nature hunters and gatherers living in the woods, right? And so remembering where we came from and how we existed thousands of years ago always brings me back to interior design, because why we gravitate to sisal and why sisal looks so good as rugs, for example, and jute, is because it has the connection to our land, our bare feet that used to walk as Homo sapiens on our planet. Something that I love more than anything are imperfect handmade materials. So if your home is perfect, and I have a lot of friends who have perfect homes, everything's in its right place, everything is smooth, everything is great, bring some imperfection into your space. I love imperfect vases or asymmetrical moments in a home. Not everything has to be perfect. Throw something that is going to make somebody say, and that is going to really change and up the game. What to avoid? Now, if you want coziness, I would avoid a lot of metals, steels, a lot of glass, a lot of shiny surfaces, a lot of these kind of high gloss looks that can make a space feel sort of unapproachable and, quite honestly, cold. Another great trick that we use as designers in our projects, or even in showcase homes, or moments that we are doing, for example, set design, what we do is we bring a lot of different sources of light, whether it's natural, uneven layers, whether it's ambient light, to make a room feel softer and inviting. So the lighting strategies that clients pay a lot of money for us to recreate, I'm going to share those with you so you can recreate them just for yourself. Use multiple light sources instead of just an overhead light. I have talked about this over and over again. However, I feel it is very important in the discussion with regard to coziness, because light can envelop your body and you really want to stay true to the color that feels good. And in my opinion, a 2700 Kelvin to maximum 3000, my favorite is 2700. I know a lot of interior designers agree with me. That is the perfect shade of warm. A warm bulb is so much more interesting, so much more inviting, so much more beautifying than anything stronger than that. So I highly recommend it. Now, a lot of you might say, well, what about task lighting? Yes, if you have task lighting and you want a laundry room that you can see what you're ironing, of course you can change the Kelvin. But remember, for spaces that you use during the evenings to relax, for dinner parties, for just staying at home and being cozy, definitely opt for the 2700 Kelvin, or make sure that you have a dimmer on absolutely everything so that at least you have the options. A lot of dimmers will go from a 3 to 3500 Kelvin down to much softer. So maybe give yourself the ability to choose depending on your mood. If you're struggling with your lighting choice or at a loss as to how to bring in the perfect table lamp, floor lamp, or even if you have issues with furniture placement, whatever it may be, I am here to help, because I have met now, at this point, I feel like hundreds of you. I have had so many great discussions one-on-one on Zoom with you and your dilemmas, and it gives me a little view into all of our community, who I really, truly love and appreciate. I love you guys. You know who you are because we've spoken. And being able to help you, even, as short as 25 minutes or longer, is a game changer, I think, for a lot of you. A lot of you have expressed how many mistakes you have avoided by consulting with me. So if you have the wherewithal, or if you have a dilemma, or if you just want to say hi, all you have to do is click the link in the description section. My calendar will pop up, and then next thing you know, we will have a scheduled Zoom call together. Now, defining a space is also critically important for making a cozy space come together. Why? Because large, oversized spaces feel like gymnasiums in big homes, and they don't feel cozy. However, if you have tall ceilings in a big space, we're not going to discount it. We're not going to take it away from you, and we're not going to shame you for it. You're lucky to have it. But create a cozy environment within the larger environment. And the way that you do that is that you create a niche. You bring in a rug. A rug will define the place. You can place your items on that rug, and that rug will define a little section that you can call just yours, that you can feel cozy in. And if you dim the lights, you can definitely pretend you are in a zone rather than in an open space. Now, one other way that we can shrink a large space is by using a layering technique. In that technique, we bring several rugs, we'll layer them in one area, and it gives the sense of a defined place. Canopy beds in a large room are also a great way to create coziness. One of the issues many of you have in large homes is the fact that you feel out of place in your own bedroom. I love designing with an architect a cozy primary bedroom. I find very large, overpowering primary bedrooms to feel terrible. I've had a client whose television was 20 feet in front of her, but that was the closest wall to her bed. So if possible, you can actually create coziness in your room if you have a large room by bringing a canopy. A lot of times you can also bring a pop-up television from under the bed. There are very great options so that you can create a cozy space within a large space. Bookshelves as room dividers are also a great way to define spaces within a large space. And an open bookcase from both angles, from both openings, is also a really nice way to create a division without really blocking the sense of spaciousness. Now, adding personal and sentimental elements is part of feeling cozy. I have to admit, I'm going to be spilling some information that I usually don't spill, but I do not have a single family photo in my home. I used to, and they would be defined in one area, which is how I would like it, and that's how I recommend it to my clients, to have one beautiful table with gorgeous silver frames or frames that you've collected over time with pictures of your family. To me, unfortunately, it hurts my heart when I see these photos. When I see photos of my children when they were young, it hurts me because I wish I could go back to that time. So that's something I obviously need therapy for, but I don't know if anybody else is like that. So sound off below if you are like that. It's not because I don't love my family, it's because I think I love them too much. When I see pictures of my grandparents who are no longer here, it's like a stab in the heart. Like, why do I need to go down memory lane every time I walk by this dresser or this moment? Anyway, if you guys love it and have the mental capacity, then definitely create an area where you dedicate to your family portraits. Good moments, happy moments, artwork, keepsakes, all of those things that have meaning can definitely make you feel good and make you feel that your heart feel very, very full and fulfilled. So that is a great way to do it. In my case, where I can't do that, I like to bring in some vintage handmade pieces that have history, that seem to belong to somebody, that bring a little bit of nostalgia without really triggering a memory for me that might make me feel sad about not being with a family member. Now, it's impossible to get everything vintage. I, of course, try very, very hard. Most of the pieces in my house are vintage because I love the quality of the past. I love finding things that nobody else has. I love hunting, and the thrill of the hunt is part of it. And of course, I love combining new with old pieces because it brings such an elevated sense to your design, and it brings personality so that you're not just copy pasting what you see, for example, at big box stores where you see a living room setup, you buy it and you put it in. To me, that is void of all personality, all character, all really high-end interior vision. So I would definitely 100% avoid that if you want something that's very elevated and very cozy. Now, using soft flowing shapes happens to also be on trend, but again, we don't really care about trends. If you do care about trends and want to incorporate them, well, listen, that's okay. Just remember my 70-30 rule. 70% needs to be pieces that are timeless, 30% have fun, bring objects, and then get rid of them if you want to. So ways to add softness would be curved tables, arched doorways if you're in construction, or amorphous shapes, round cushions that you can throw on the floor as throw pillows, organic decor, wavy mirrors, all of that you will find a plethora of online these days because it is trending. But remember, it's always about balance. If you have a room with an asymmetrical coffee table, then don't bring in an asymmetrical mirror and place it in in the same room. I think you really need to pick your poison. Find the piece you love the most with the asymmetry, go hard on that, and then cut it off, because too much of a good thing is always a bad thing. Also, do avoid too many rigid lines. A lot of 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree. For those of us that are very rigid and minimal and clean, I get it, I love it, but bring in a little bit of softness by balancing everything, as you do in life and in decor. And since so many of you asked today, I am wearing brand new jeans that I'm obsessed with because of the color and the shape. These are barrel jeans. I will link these for you. They're from Soroya. And the color of the season, by the way, is this gorgeous bone color. My sweater is a polo sweater, which has gorgeous details in the sleeves. And I like the fact that it has a deeper V, making it very comfortable to put on and take off. And my new belt is from Bottega in a beautiful chocolate brown color. And my shoes, again, that I've worn over and over, is from Tory Burch. Let's not forget the accessories. I got these adorable new earrings with a very beautiful shape to them, and my O-ring, which I am absolutely loving wearing on my index finger. My absolute most important, I think, takeaway from this video is to remember to declutter. Cluttering your space is a very heavy proposition. It's heavy because it is a reminder of all the things that you forgot to do, such as clean that space, all the tidbits that you brought into the house that you meant to organize that you didn't. So it stresses you out because you're like, oh God, I can't look at that pile. So decluttering on a regular basis is my sanity. You know, my husband thinks I overdo it. So what I do to declutter is every once in a while, I'll tackle one area. Don't say today I'm going to declutter my entire home, because it'll never happen. Choose a small space, and the following weekend or whenever you have free time, do another space. So linen closet. Say to yourself, you know, Saturday, I'm going to hit that linen closet. I'm going to get rid of sheets that don't have a flat sheet, or I'm going to get rid of the towels that are ripped, or whatever that may be. And then do that, feel proud of the work that you've done, replace it with those things that you actually need rather than going and buying random things you don't, and organize it by putting category labels. My linen closet says king, full, queen, whatever my bed sizes are, so that everybody knows where everything is and it is organized and categorized. So if you do that, your life will be a lot easier, a lot more efficient, and you can tackle things one at a time. This episode is a summation of all the things that I believe in wholeheartedly as a human being, and also is my philosophy of interior design. So when sharing this with you, I hope that you have a takeaway, even if it's a small moment of maybe organizing something that might declutter your brain, or bringing a little bit more comfort into your home and a little bit more joy into your home when you've had a stressful day. Because really, what is interior design about? Interior design is about a feeling that you evoke when you walk into somebody's home. So think about what it is that you want to achieve. How do you want people to feel when they come into your home? And then follow your gut, your instincts. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know if you have a special topic you want me to tackle. And I can't wait to see you guys again next week on this channel, The Red Elevator.